Welcome everyone, and hello to all the beautiful people out there. We're back again with another Cabbage critique. Are we still using that or no?
Yeah, I think it still rings.
I mean, it's always worked for me. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but we're here to review things. That's what we're here to do. As
Yes.
always, it is your favorite Southern Californian song, along with my friends Carl
Howdy.
and Jacob.
Hey guys.
And this is actually, recently, by the time you guys are watching this, we recently done reviews on Scott Pilgrim and How to Train Your Dragon, things that Jacob and myself picked respectively. But now it's time to go with something that Carl picked, and this is the first 3 episodes of Person of Interest. Carl,
Yes, DJ.
how's it going?
Not too bad. I'm 100% awake.
Yeah. Well, it's late. This is late night. We are with who does the late show again?
Jimmy
Jimmy Fallon.
Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon,
Every random Jimmy on the street
Okay,
could be anyone at
cool.
this point.
Jimmy Olsen.
No, down with the gingers.
Hmm.
But Carl, would you like to bring us some info and get the ball rolling on this here show?
Bridge Edge is an American science fiction crime drama user aired on CBS from September 22nd, 2011 to June 21st, 2016, with 5 seasons consisting of 103 episodes. This series was created by Jonathan Nolan, the brother of Christopher Nolan.
Huh.
It was executive producer was Nolan, J.J. Abrams, Brian Burke, Greg Hegman, and Chris Fisher. The series centers around a mysterious, elusive billionaire computer programmer, Harold Finch, played by Michael Emerson, who was developed a computer program for the federal government known as the Machine that was capable of spying on you every hour, every day. All sources of information to predict when terrorist attacks and identifying people planning them. The series raised an enormous array of moral issues, some issues, privacy, and the greater good, the concept of justifiable homicide, and the problems caused by working within a limited programming. Catherine Tessina of The Tenor noted that the end of the series in 2016, Prisoner had transformed from a crime-fighting show with an interesting plot-driven device into one of the best science fiction series ever broadcasted. The show won the 2012 People's Choice Awards for Favorite New TV Drama and the 2016 People's Choice Award for Favorite TV Crime Drama.
Neato. Thank you, Carl.
And a little bit about the production of the show. The series was picked up by CBS in May 13, 2011, debuted, as I said, September 22nd, 2011. In October 25th, 2011, the show received a full season order. It was renewed for a second season on March 14, 2012 by CBS, which premiered on September 27, 2012. CBS renewed it for a third season on March 27th, on the 13th, with Sarah Shahini and Amy Packer promoted the series regulars. The series was renewed for a fourth season on March 13, 2012, and was renewed for a fifth and final season on May 11, 2012. ADR recorded for the series was done at a recording studio, Cherry Peach Sound, and the music was composed by Damon DeSweetie.
Awesome.
There you go.
I hate to keep you talking, Carl, but with all that out of the way, would you like to roll into the first episode of Person of Interest?
Yep. Our first plot follow is the pilot, actually just called The Pilot. Directed by David Samel, written by Jonathan Nolan, and featured music from Damien DeWitt's Angel by Mass Attack. The original air date was September 22nd, 2011. Our episode follows John Reese, played by Jim Chavo, I think that's his name, who you might know
Probably.
actually from, if anyone has seen the very gruesome movie, Passion of the Christ.
Who does he play in that?
He's Jesus.
Jesus?
I thought that was Mel Gibson.
That's the director.
Shredding for our sins?
Yeah, atheists explain this.
And we first open with, we see John Reese, a former CIA and U.S. Army Special Forces soldier turned alcoholic homeless man, as he struggles with a group of hot-headed teenagers on a subway in New York City. Why are subways in New York always not fun?
Because the people in New York aren't fun.
No one needs to tell Peter Parker to leave then.
Honestly,
It's not a fun place.
I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. I mean, he's barely keeping rent up in one of the most densely populated areas in the entire U.S.
I honestly don't think he doesn't say so much something to do.
After this, John is extracted from the police custody before New York Police Department homicide detective Josh Carter, played by Jetta P. Henson, has confronted him on his links to previous killings discovered through analyzing his fingerprints on the police system. John Reese is brought to the somewhat elusive billionaire Harold Finch, played by Michael Emerson, who was in the season 5 of Arrow, if you didn't know,
Nito.
who is the creator of the next-gen software simply called The Machine. After 2011, Finch developed a computer program that sifts through the amount of data looking for patterns of behavior or activity that would predict another attack. It also provides information about individuals who would be in danger. It predicts the identity of a person involved in a premeditated crime that will happen at some point in the future. However, Finch built a backdoor into the program only to provide a social security number of the person and offers no clue of their involvement or which the crime will take place. Finch, who feels the need to do something about these people, enlists John Reese to enlist his aid providing these crimes. Finch offers Reese a job in doing this, as well as giving Reese a purpose following the death of his girlfriend, Jessica, which is the source of his depression and his drinking. The first of his list is Diane Hansen, a district attorney for New York, currently working on a major prosecution case for promoting a drug killing. Reese agrees to help and begins watching her. Reese learns that Hansen is not the victim, but the perpetrator, running a ring of corrupt police officers and planning to kill a fellow DA, Mr. Wheeler. After blackmailing one of the corrupt cops, Detective Lionel Fusco, played by Kevin Chapman, into being his source of his information inside NYPD. John reveals Hansen's corruption in an open court, kills Detective Stills, the leader of the corrupt cop gang, and links Fusco to the crime to ensure his future cooperation. Having previously rejected Finch's offer to work for him, Reese recants and agrees to continue to prevent these crimes.
And that is the synopsis of the first episode.
Yep, that is the end of the plot.
Alrighty. So, what did y'all feel about this episode? What
I
what
thought
did
it
you
was,
like about this pilot?
I thought that Reese, the actress Judge replaced Reese. I thought it was a little boring. Like the premise is a little boring. It's not that it was bad. Didn't really hook me. Of course, I rewatched the first show, so I was like, okay, I'll keep going, see if it gets better. I still hold this opinion. I don't like Michael Emerson as Harold Finch. I don't like him.
Why do you not like Michael Emerson as Finch?
It's just his acting in the role is not. It just doesn't feel right when I watch it on screen.
So you
I
have
don't
some
know.
problems. You have a few problems with some of the performances.
With only that performance, only Michael Emerson's, which is bad because he's one of the main characters. But I don't. I actually really like the other guy as John Reese because he's really good.
Fair enough.
I thought the soundtrack was really good. The music.
That was something that I did dig the soundtrack.
The first scene is pretty good. The one in the subway. I don't know. I didn't this. I've watched a lot of shows. The pilot's not usually the best, and I think that's the case with this one.
Yeah, it's really hard to hook someone in with just a pilot. You kind of have to let it fizzle forward a little bit. So that I kind of completely understand from that perspective. What about you, Carl?
I agree. It's a little it's not a short episode. They're all about an hour long, roughly. If you have commercials like we all do, because we're using the freebie version.
Yep.
But even the effects, you would have noticed when we get to episode 2 that the effects got a little bit better. These didn't have the exact same effect. If you noticed,
I did notice that.
Okay, what I mean by effects, I mean the computer effects, like literally computer effects. But it did add a lot of key concepts, like we got Detective Fusco, who will be a mainstay for all 5 seasons of the show. We have Detective Carter, who will be here for 3 seasons, but John and Finch will be around for pretty much every episode, minus maybe a few flashback episodes. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched the entire show again. But it's not a bad. It's a rocky pilot. What'd you think of John's opening monologue about how when you find the right person, you become someone better?
I mean, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I was just gonna go ahead, Jacob.
I thought it was good as far as like I said. I think he's the standout actor of the show. It's not that the other people people are bad, just that he sticks out more. I think he tries to play this cool character, someone who seems like he doesn't care about stuff. And I think he plays that first role pretty well in the episode. I don't have too much to say on, but
Yeah, it was a pilot that did what it needed to do. It laid the foundation, but it didn't really go beyond that.
and unlike because it's not a movie, so it has different pacing. So it's not going to be like How to Train Your Dragon with its pacing.
Yeah, obviously, watching these 3 episodes, even taking out commercials, is still much longer than How to Train Your Dragon was. So obviously, this show kind of had to take it at a slower pace because obviously it has to fill that 40 minutes, and try to be as compelling as possible within it, and that's hard to do. It really is.
I've
But
I've seen I've seen very few shows that are able to be compelling in the first episode.
but let's see if the second episode can't do any better. Carl,
Give me a second. I am checking that claim and see how long How to Train Your Dragon was. I don't remember how long the movie was. So I'm going back to
I
see how
think
long
it's
it
around the
was.
hour 30 mark.
Actually, because I did multiply because we watched the first three, so we have the entire 3 episodes is 135 minutes without the commercials, pretty much. How to Train Your Dragon is oh yeah, you're right. It is long. It is 3 episodes were longer. I accidentally looked up how much the movie was. Oopsie. Oopsie. Anyways, on to our second episode, oddly called Ghosts.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Me specifically? No, not really.
Does busting ghosts make you feel good?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. When we were out there, that was a little creepy, man. Like, it's a
No
little
one's gonna
creepy.
remember that.
So, episode 2, Ghost, written by Greg Hillman, written by and Jonathan Nolan, produced by Brian Burke, Greg Hagman, Jonathan Nolan, and J.J. Abrams.
That's why I didn't like it.
It's the only J.J. Abrams project I actually like.
Wow.
And it's a single episode.
No, he's the producer on the entire show.
Oh, he is?
Yep. So John managed to save a man from being murdered by hitman in an elevator and leaves the scene, which is just an odd opening. Like you see him in the elevator, you see like he's like saving the guy just because
He's like,
his
he says something to you. He's like, "Hey, you're going behind your wife's back is kind of hard." Or he says something that maybe she might send people after you.
and the guys in the other two guys in the elevator, the hitman here to kill him.
He should have said, I missed the part where that's my problem.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
He is soon contacted by Finch to go to a cemetery. Oddly, Finch tells him about a new number, B. Why can't I say her name now? Stupid. What is the girl's stupid name?
Teresa?
Teresa, there we go. I couldn't say it. Teresa Whitaker, a girl who thought has been dead along with the rest of her family. Teresa's father was a businessman whose empire was made of dirt, pretty much. It fell and he was killed because of what his family was killed because of. With help of Fusco, Reese gets more information about Teresa. After questioning one of her friends, Reese finds Teresa robbing from an ATM and fleeing after she cuts his hand with a box cutter. Posing as an insurance employee, Finch questions Teresa's aunt, Elizabeth, in Brooklyn Heights, who loved Teresa like her own daughter, and gets her ex-husband Derek's number. Reese interrogates a hitman in jail who was the one who hired to kill the family. Reese meets him in prison where he's serving a life sentence for another murder, and he reveals that he refused to kill Teresa as he does not kill children. However, due
Yeah,
to
his
killing
dignity. He's not going to go that far.
no. However, due to kid killers not being very popular in prison, the hitman has been defending his honor, and the information reveals the men who hired him. This caused whoever hired him to hire a new hitman to find Teresa and kill her. Reading through Eric's records, Finch and Reese begin investigating Landale and Financials, which had been involved in the murder. Finding Derek meeting with the owner of the company, Jimmy Calhoun, Reese again finds Teresa where she is attacked by another hitman. Both manage to escape and hide in a hotel room, and Finch decides to stay with her to take care of her. Reese meets with Derek and makes him confess to what happened. It turns out Teresa's father had assets that were going to be given to Derek. Due to several problems after hiring Landale, Calhoun ordered his murder as he is the sole member of the family alive. He is the only owner of the asset, and Teresa's status could damage the asset controls. Going home, Derek is killed by the hitman when he refuses to give away Teresa's whereabouts. The hitman tracks a call between Teresa and her aunt and locates the hotel where she is at after escaping from him in the hotel. Hitman is shot by Reese before he is killed. Reese calls Carter for a meeting where Reese directs her to find Teresa. With her testimony, Calhoun is arrested. However, she decides not to give up Reese. At the station, Teresa has an emotional reunion with her aunt. Reese also finds Finch quit his job at an office as he wishes to keep his personal life secret. On a flashback to 2002, Finch is joined by a colleague, Nathan Ingram, and shows him working on a beta version of the machine with basic protocols of watching over New York City. Finch also says he is teaching the machine how to track people. In 2007, Ingram questions the machine's function of irrelevant crimes when Finch explains that the machine is supposed to save everybody. It reveals that the office where Finch works has a memorial bust of Ingram, who was revealed to be dead in 2010.
Dun, dun, dun.
That is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
Thought this episode was okay. It definitely had. I've already said I've not even been a lot of flinch in this episode. Other than that, I just didn't find the plot too compelling. I don't know. How'd you guys feel about it?
On the flip side, I think this episode actually had a lot of heat to it, if that makes any sense. Like it was definitely more. What's the word? Carl, maybe you can help me out. What's a good word to describe how I guess focused this episode is on its plot?
Plot driven?
Yeah, you know what? Sure, let's go with that. There was a lot of drama in this one, and I don't know. I dug it more than the first episode.
Yeah, it was definitely better than the first one.
What'd you think of Fusco in this episode?
I thought he was all right.
Was it the bumbling cop who was
Yeah,
working?
yeah, he's the one who got thrown into the bathroom in the beginning of the episode.
Like
I thought he was
usually,
okay.
usually I'm not the biggest fan of like spineless characters, but I didn't mind him.
What about Carter, the hard-driven detective?
I'm a sucker for a good detective, so he gets a thumbs up from me.
She is a good one.
Look, I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
So
Oh,
tired he can't remember genders of characters.
shut up, you.
Don't be mean to him for you not
Yeah.
remembering what the name of the character is.
Yes, I'm a sucker for a good detective, so she gets a thumbs up for me.
What about Teresa, the supposed to be dead girl?
The MacGuffin of the story?
Pretty much.
I don't think she was bad at all, actually.
Do I? I mean, she definitely served her purpose, and it was a nice twist at the end. I have nothing bad to say about that.
What about the flashbacks? That is kind of a
Eh.
staple of the show. They do a lot of flashbacks.
I could take it or leave it.
Okay.
Flashbacks and shows and stuff. Just I don't know. They're usually just not my cup of tea.
For me, it depends on the context of the flashback. The flashback is done with, it's done with like trying to mean something. I think it's better than if it's just a flashback for
there's definitely
flashback's
cases
sake.
where
If it's just a flashback to reveal information they could have told us through exposition, that's when it becomes a problem for me.
there's definitely cases where it's better than others, but in this I
Okay.
think it's fine.
If you don't mind, let me break it down a little more. What about the flashback of how the infancy in the machine was made? What about that flashback?
That was a good one.
I feel like it gave us the necessary information.
And in 2007, when Ingram's questioning the machine, its purpose.
Like I said, some of these I could just take it or leave it.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the episode, Carl?
It's not a bad. Out of the three we watched, I definitely say it's my favorite, just because they don't do a lot of in the someone's supposed to be dead but not really plots in the show in later seasons.
Fair enough.
So it's a nice, interesting one to come back to.
That makes sense. I mean, you've definitely seen more of this show than us, so.
Yep.
But moving on to the third episode, Carl, would you like to take us away once more?
Yep. Third episode called Mission Reach. Directed by Stephen DePaul, written by Patrick Hubin, produced by Brian Burke, Greg Hegman, Jonathan Nolan, and J.J. Abrams.
Abrams.
Potato.
This was my favorite one, I think. I think you also said it was your favorite one.
Yeah.
Oddly, this one actually starts with a flashback, this episode. Flashing back to 2006, which is the year of our host DJ and DJ Sit Up.
Yay! I'm here.
Reese runs into Jessica, his former lover, at the airport. After returning from a job, he finds out that she's engaged now. Jessica says she waited for him. Reese replies that he didn't ask her to. She said he decided that he was afraid he would get killed over there and leave her alone and unhappy. And she said that it would be easier for him to be alone. Reese responded that it's something you learn over there. In the end, we're all alone, and no one's coming to save you. Reese tells her to be happy with Peter, not Peter. Jessica asks him to tell her to wait for him. Reese says nothing, but Jessica walks away out
Just
of
because that would take
earshot.
actual strength or something, right?
Yeah.
because that would take actual courage, not running away from your boss.
It's almost like these characters are people.
That's great.
Reese says nothing, but as Jessica walks out of earshot, he says, "Wait for me, please." Reese and Finch get the number of Jesse Duran, a soldier who had just returned from Afghanistan, who is now working as a doorman. After cloning his phone, Reese follows Joey to a bank. There, he finds Joey and a gang robbing the bank. He prevents a guard from shooting them, and they escape with the money. Following Joey, Reese finds him getting money to a woman despite having a fiance named Pia Massino. He also finds Joey receiving money from a taxi driver who is from Joey's infantry division. Analyzing the stop, they find a bar owner named Sam Litmar, a Gulf War veteran who is also on Joey's division. Reese visits Lemur, claiming to be a soldier wanting to join the gang. When he is refused due to lack of space, Finch plants a gun on one of the members to get him arrested, so Reese can be given this place on the team. Carter is shown the footage of Reese stopping the guard in the bank and wonders if he was involved in the robbery. Investigating the footage, she discovers that an exclusive military radio was stolen from Fort Dunman 6 months ago. Reese finds Joey and he reveals that after returning to the country, he wanted to have a success, but the bank had extreme control over him that forced him to do robberies. Later, the gang infiltrates a casino for a heist. However, Carter and the NYPD have already identified the radio and located one of the gang members, forcing them to leave without the money. Finch and Reese find that the woman whom Joey was meeting had a husband who, on his division, had died in Afghanistan. The soldier that died, he replaced Joey on his position, and Joey feels morally responsible for this family, delivering money to them without the knowledge of his fiance. As a last heist, the gang must infiltrate NYPD evidence lockers to retrieve a file from locker. Finch also intercepts a message from Vladimir saying he will kill the team, but is unable to alert Reese as his cell phone is fried before the heist is ordered and prevent its interact before they get in. Sorry. Without no option, Finch must arrives at the evidence locker and is taken hostage by the team, with Reese acting as a co-putter. He's telling him about Lemir's plan, but it's too late. The team reveals a file with the word Elias M. Two of the gangs give the package to Lemire and are both killed and escape. Reese and Joey manage to evade NYPD as well. Reese gives Joey money so he can leave New York with Aya to start a new life. Carter uses the radio to communicate with Reese, confronting him about the recent activities, but Reese does not expose himself. Reese and Finch track down Lemire, find him murdered in an apartment after Reese previously handing over the file. That is the end of our episode.
I thought this episode was definitely the strongest one.
Of the three that we watched, I would have to agree with you there, Jacob.
My reasons would be it sets up a good motivation for characters, and adds in realistic reasons for them to feel the way they do. Because I believe somewhere in there, there's a scene where you didn't talk about it because it's not too important, but where they talk about how coming back from the war, things they weren't accommodated. They felt like the country wasn't the same after. And then these bankers are like, "What are you talking about? It's not. No, we thank you, but you volunteered, right? You didn't have to, so you shouldn't get any benefits." It's like, okay.
Note the best part of that scene was one of the bankers said, "You need to start using this," pointing at John. I think it's John. And he says, "Okay," hits him in the head.
But the thing is, one thing I liked about it is the guys who were trying to talk bad about him had never been to war before, so they didn't understand how he felt. Because fighting in the Iraq War, of course, he got discharged, but fighting in the war was intense. He lost a brother, basically. He lost a brother to war, and so he feels like he needs to repay him, but he can't because no one's like helping him adjust to modern or to the new world. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it is very well evident that military people, if they come back from war, they are very evidently not the same. And in our society, there's not a system set up to where they can help them. Sure, you can go to the VA, but the VA, they're probably really backed up for how many people they got to deal with. Let's see, I think there's about 10 people per infantry, and there's about 100 of them going overseas. That's a lot of people.
Oh, what I'm trying to say is all of them
Always.
have realistic struggles that you can understand why they did it, which is why I think it's the strongest setup for an episode so far.
What about you, DJ? What did you think of the episode?
I liked it. Like Jacob said, it was probably my favorite out of the three. I don't know if you noticed it specifically, but we had talked about the pacing earlier. This one felt smoother, if that makes sense to me at least.
Yeah, it felt like they finally got their flow of how they want to tell their story.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously that makes sense. They're a few episodes in, starting to get
Yeah.
that ball rolling.
Says here, according to the reception, it with the ratings it got, Birds of Interest, the third episode became the third most watched show on CBS for the night, behind Mentalist and Big Bang Theory, and the third in its time slot, and sixth for the night in the demographic of 18 to 49, just behind The Mentalist, Grey's Anatomy, The Office, and X Factor, and The Big Bang Theory. Those are some massive shows.
Yeah,
For
and
better
so
or
I
for
guess
worse.
I guess looking back watching this episode, we kind of had the same feeling of the audience, like like it was finally getting its hold.
Yeah, I do have to agree with Jacob on this one, but I think this was the best one out of the ones that we watched. 'Cause I just enjoyed it,
Yeah,
Like
I don't
like
doubt that it can be superseded by another episode,
oh yeah,
but
like I completely understand Carl's reasoning as to why he thought two was the best of the lineup we had today.
he's watched the whole entire show. We've only seen
Yeah.
this, so from our experience, this is the best the show has been so far.
You guys got any question what's gonna happen in later seasons or episodes?
Does Frosty the Snowman kill someone?
No, no magic snowman.
This is bull
Does
crap.
John get back with the girl?
No. In I don't remember what episode the actual episode's title, but it is revealed later that Jessica's died
Oh,
because it's supposed in a car accident, but Carter, who's working with an FBI detective, an FBI guy, figures out that no, it's a DV case pretty much. Her husband Peter, they were arguing and she hit her head on the counter and died. John figures out that when he comes back from being killed in China, because that's where his last mission was sent, where he was last sent. He tries to find Jessica, goes to the hospital she worked at. One of the nurses says she died about 6 months ago. Goes to Peter and kills Peter, but no, he never gets. After that airport, he never sees her again. He hears from her one last time. He's during the incident before the death, which is right before she gets killed by Peter. And he said, "Wait, I'll be right there." And then he gets sent to China. I think it's China or Japan, one of the two. I don't remember.
one of the two.
It's an Asian country. I know that. Don't ask me which it is. Any other questions?
Not for me.
But you, Jacob.
What is do the concepts like in the storytelling get way better over time?
The first season's plot was pretty much it's revolved around this character that you meet. Not you don't meet the character, you get the implication of him at near the end. That Elias character, the guy who took the file.
Yeah,
His entire thing is he wants to take over the entire crime families.
I
Like he
see.
wants to take over the mafia, and because his father is a mobster who did not want anything to do with him, who killed his mother, Elias. That's why he took up the name Elias.
So is
Ah,
that the
alright.
guy who killed the other guy in the
One of
first
I,
episode?
I believe it is. They don't have the actual actor. They get another guy to do it. Second season is more of that essentially. A lot of it's very much have you guys ever seen Supernatural?
I've seen part of it.
It's kind of like that, where it's monster of the week with small instances of others.
All right,
With
that's fair.
with them, the overall plot thread being that a new character, Root, who's fascinated with the machine, kidnaps Harold to get control of the machine, but the machine was being infected by a virus that Finch had let loose years ago beforehand. So now the machine is open and free to itself, so it technically is in control of itself, but still following his prime directive.
Oh,
Season 3, if I'm remembering right, forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, but is an entire season dealing with a group of bad guys called the organized called HR, which is a group of corrupt cops who's out just for themselves, with their leader being a high-ranking politician, funny enough, who's only and Fusco joins it just because of what he has to do with John, and Carter becomes more involved with them. And season 3, 4, and 5 deal with a AI named Samaritan who wants to pretty much control the world because the U.S. government says we don't like the machine, we want this new one, pretty much.
hmm.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Not really. I think
What about you,
that
DJ?
answers my question.
You got any questions?
Especially regarding this one and just everything that's been set up at this point. No, not really. But thank
Okay.
you.
Well, I thought I'd ask before I say that's the end of our episode.
Yeah. Well, did you have any extra thoughts you wanted to slap on there, Carl?
Not much. It's not a, it's a, if you really think about it, this show is a predate to a lot of stuff we think about nowadays with like who's controlling what. Does the government really have a machine that spies on us every hour of every day? Are they watching us record this very episode right now?
They probably are.
Yeah. Also made me think because I was watching this episode while playing a game. It's very much like Watch Dogs if you think about it.
Kinda. You look at something like, hey, what are they doing on their phone? You track the conversation, steal their money.
Yep.
Very related.
But that will be the end of our episode. This is DJ. Say hi, DJ. Say bye, DJ.
Do I have to?
No, you can go to bed with no dinner.
Okay. All right, fine. But yes, with all that out of the way, it's time for us to wrap this episode up. So, Jacob, anything else you want to say?
I'd say it's definitely worth your time. If you're into those types of shows.
Definitely a bit of an incline before you get to the good stuff.
Oh wait, I forgot to say something before we end the episode.
No.
No, don't say it.
No, it's just you know how in the beginning of the pilot, Michael Finch says one of us will die.
Yeah.
That actually does happen. One of them actually does die. So the truth
Go
actually
figure.
comes out.
Go
Who do you think
figure.
dies? Who do you think dies? John or Finch?
Finch. Ain't no way a man living with the name Finch.
No, John dies by missile. Filled with
Because
cookies from DJ's house.
you know what?
No.
No.
No,
I'm
it
not
was it was actually just a missile from like an air base.
I'm not listening to you anymore. This is the end of the episode now. Woo!
Now put a picture of Jim Calvin on there so they get a good look at him.
No, thank you.
Why are we singing?
Because I don't want to do that.
You don't want to sing, but why are we singing?
No, I just don't want to put a picture up.
But why not?
No.
Are we done singing now?
I hope so. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Then you know what? You sing, Jacob.
I don't want to sing.
Aw, this went off the rails. But yes.
It did.
But yes, that concludes our episode for today. So on behalf of my friends, Carl
Hi, guys.
and
See
Jacob,
ya. Have a
this
good
is
one.
your this is your favorite Southern California son signing off. Bye bye.
Peace.